Designing exercise programs. Client consultation. Here we have a PAR-Q and a client profile. PAR-Q asks that they know what they're signing up to, and the client profile shows that what they do that will affect their health. Here's a client profile. You can see that they have their name, age, height, weight, and just a couple of lifestyle factors, and you have their test results as well, for which I will be talking about later for what their improvements are. Right, for week 1, Monday, I chose a 5-mile run to start my client off due to their poor effort in the yo-yo test. They achieved a below average and I haven't set a particular time to complete it due to them having a game a day before and also having it towards the end of the week after all the exercises. I chose weight training because it would be a good way for my clients to build up muscle so their power improves. This will also allow them to improve their good scores already on the standing vertical jump and standing broad jump. Ladders. I chose the ladder to improve my clients' agility, as there are many variations as to what you can do on them. This will improve their results to make them even more better than they are within the Illinois agility and the T-test. Right, Monday. Before my client begins their 5-mile run, a 15-minute warm-up is to be conducted to decrease the chances of injury during the training. The warm-up will consist of static and dynamic stretches, predominantly in the legs as they are the main use. However, some stretches will be for the arms as they're partially used as well. Some of these stretches could be a hamstring stretch, calf stretch, hip and thigh stretch, groin stretch, shoulder stretch, and bicep stretch. They can begin their 5-mile run. I haven't given a specific time for them to complete the run as it's only week 1. They've had a match day before and there is also one at the end of the week after all the exercises. This means they can go at a gentle pace, making sure it can be a bit more enjoyable. This is done to ease them into the process of training. After they complete the run, a 15-minute cooldown is to be put in place to reduce the chances of injury in DOMS. An ice bomb is also can be done, but is optional. It will help to aid the process of recovery, but it's not needed. Some static and dynamic stretches will be needed to be done. Some of these will be quite similar to the warm-up stretches, targeting the main muscle groups. So that will be stretching out the hamstrings and quadriceps, as well as the gastrocnemius. However, some stretches will stretch the arms and upper body, because that will also be used. Some of these might be hamstring stretch, a quadricep pull, and various others. Tuesday. Before my client starts their weight training, a 15-minute warm-up has been put in place to reduce the chance of injury. The warm-up will consist of static and dynamic stretches, predominantly on the legs as they are the main use. However, some will be done in the arms. Some of these will be similar to the 5-mile run stretches, consisting of a hamstring stretch, calf stretch, hip and thigh stretch, groin stretch. However, some will be done in the arms, such as a shoulder stretch and bicep stretch. The exercises I have put in place are deadlifts, squats, and leg press. These leg exercises focus specifically on the legs to improve their power in the standing vertical jump and the standing broad jump. The exercises are to be done for 5 sets of 10 reps of their chosen weight. The weight must be at least 50% of their own body weight so that they are able to build muscle. A 15-minute cooldown has been put in place to reduce the chances of injury and DOMS. An ice balm would be recommended as this session is quite intense, but is also optional as it will aid the process of recovery. Some static and dynamic stretches will need to be done. Some of these would be hamstring, calf, hip and thigh, groin, shoulder and a bicep, as well as tricep. Wednesday, before my client starts their ladders training, a 15-minute warm-up has been put in place to reduce chances of injury. These stretches will be static and dynamic, but mainly on the legs as they're the main use. However, the arms will also be stretched as they are used to help generate speed as well. Some of these stretches could be hamstring, calf, hip, groin, shoulder and bicep. As you can see, there is a similar correlation in the stretches that are being used due to mainly focusing on the legs. The exercises I put in place improve the client's agility. It focuses on the Illinois agility test and T-test. The ladders drills are complete each repetition through the ladders 6 times and complete each drill with speed per precision. Examples of some drills are the side straddle hop, which are quick lateral movements drills that engages your hips and adductors. You hop in and out of the box with both feet and avoid clapping your feet together. Then you have an in and out, which is facing the side of the agility ladder. You are going to touch in and out of each box with both feet. Repeat this drill on both sides of the ladder. A 15-minute cool down has been put in place to reduce the chances of injury and DOMS. An ice bath is optional at this point, but could be recommended depending on the intensity that the client goes at. Some static and dynamic stretches will need to be done. Some of these would be the same as the ones for the warm-up and some other variations, as well as a cool down jog. On Thursday my client has football training, so I decided not to set an exercise as he would be training for an hour and a half. Friday will just be a repetition of Monday. Saturday, I've set Saturday to be a rest day as my client has quite a lot going on during the week and too much exercise can strain the body and possibly lead to injury. However, I expect some stretching and foam rolling to be completed during that day to help aid the recovery and relax his body for the match day. Sunday my client has a weekly football match, so no exercises will be set due to this. Week 2. I chose swimming for week 2 rather than another running session, as it gives a variation of what to do and keeps things interesting. This also allows my client to not become bored, as it's not the same thing every week, and swimming is generally found to be more enjoyable rather than running. I chose my client to do plyometric training, as it will also give a variation to the training. Also, plyometric training is used by a variety of athletes to improve leg power, which is needed to be able to get a good result in the standing vertical jump and standing broad jump. I chose cone taps for week 2 of the program, as it is a good way of testing agility, and it also simulates movement within the T-test, as you have to touch each cone you go by. Before my clients begins their 1 hour swim, a 15-minute warm-up is to be conducted to decrease the chances of injury during the training. The warm-up will consist of static and dynamic stretches like the other warm-ups. Some of these stretches could be hamstring, calf, hip and thigh stretch, shoulder stretch, groin stretch, and bicep stretch. They can then begin their swim. They then to do a stroke or front crawl, backstroke, a butterfly, and breaststroke for 15 minutes each. This is to be done however they want, in whatever order, as long as there is 15 minutes per stroke. After they have completed their 1 hour swim, a cool down is to be completed to reduce the chances of injuries and delayed onset muscle soreness. It will help aid the process of recovery. Some static and dynamic stretches will be needed to be done. Some of these would be the same as the warm-up stretches. However, stretches probably wouldn't be as needed in the swimming, as swimming can be quite gentle on the muscles. Tuesday, before my client begins plyometric training, a 15-minute warm-up is to be conducted to decrease the chances of injury during training. The warm-up will consist of static and dynamic stretches on the legs and on the arms as they are used as well. Some of these stretches could be hamstring, quadriceps, mainly the leg muscles. However, there would be the biceps, shoulder and tricep stretches so that there is no injury. The exercises have been put in place to improve lower body power. One set will consist of 10 30cm box jumps, 10 standing broad jumps, 10 standing vertical jumps, and 1 footed leaps across the distance of 5 meters. This is to be done as many times as possible in the time given, and breaks are to be taken for every minute every 2 sets. After they have completed the plyometric training, a cool down is to be completed to reduce the chances of injury in DOMS. An ice bath would be definitely recommended, as this exercise is quite intense, especially on the legs. Some static and dynamic stretches will be needed to be done. Some of these would be quite similar to the warm-up stretches, but held for longer, as this exercise is quite intense. Wednesday, before my client starts their cone taps training, a 15-minute warm-up has been put in place. The stretches in this warm-up will be static and dynamic, and stretches on the legs, as they are mainly, stretches would be mainly on the legs, because as they are the main use, and for the arms they are also used to help generate speed as well, so there will also be stretches on the arms. These stretches will be pulling your arm across the body to stretch out the shoulder, bringing your elbow up above your head and pulling it back to stretch out the tricep, and also some lunges and calf strokes will also be used to stretch out muscles in the legs. The exercises I've put in place improves the client's agility. It focuses on the Illinois Agility Test and T-Test. Cone drills. On each drill have 30 seconds of work and then rest for a minute. Complete each drill as many times as possible within the time given. Lay out 7 cones and a number of both sets of outside cones 1 to 6. The client is doing bounce steps either side of the cone in the middle, and when a number is called they run to a specific cone, run around it and return to the middle cone. After this, a 15-minute cool down has been put in place to reduce the chances of DOMS and injury. These will help aid the process of recovery. Some dynamic and static stretches will be done during this cool down. These would be hamstring, calf, hip and thigh stretch, groin stretch, shoulder and bicep stretch, and any other stretches the client can think